Hey, what's up guys? Today, I'll show you a horror comedy film, Piranha 3DD Part 2. Spoiler ahead, watch out and take care. The movie begins with a news report recounting the events that happened in Lake Victoria during the last film. Years after the piranha attack, the town now lies deserted and run down due to the failing economy caused by the negative press covering the incident. Bodies of dead piranhas litter the beaches, and rusty sailboats remain a reminder of the gruesome events that happened in the lake. One evening, two fishermen arrive at an old rundown dock. They carefully tread the dark waters, unknown that they are surrounded by hundreds of piranha eggs ready to hatch if disturbed. They spot a dead animal carcass floating on the water, and they try to make their way to it. One fisherman uses a long pole to drag the carcass toward them. A piranha egg comes out of the carcass, and they use a lighter to better see the egg, which triggers an explosion that hatches all the eggs in the area. The two fishermen are attacked on their way back to land, but the piranhas take them apart and kill them. The following morning, a water park owner films an advertisement for his establishment, Never-Ending Fun and Women. The filming comes to an abrupt end when his stepdaughter, Maddie, approaches the film site. She shouts at the owner, berating him for firing their veteran lifeguards and replacing them with strippers. He argues that he can run the water park with success that way. He then shows her a brand new section of the park that was recently built, called the adult pool. She further berates him for the display of nudity and reminds him that she still owns 49% of the water park and that she should have a say in how things are run. In the evening, the water park still shows incredible nightlife with beautiful fireworks and teenagers gathering around the pools. Maddie's friends, Ashley and a Blondie, arrive and meet up with her. Ashley tells Maddie that Blondie likes a boy named Josh and will consider asking him out later tonight. Maddie's boyfriend, a police officer, comes to the water park. They exchange greetings rather than hormones. She tells him that she is back in town, but only for the summer, and the officer states that it should be an interesting summer now that she is here. Later, Blondie and Josh are sitting together at the edge of a dock. Blondie suggests that they go swimming in the cold. Blondie goes first and jumps into the water, but she takes a few moments longer to surface, which scares Josh. He then jumps in after her. They swim for a few moments until Blondie feels something brush up against her legs. Piranhas swarm around them, but none of them have noticed that. Blondie rushes to go back to shore, uncomfortable from the feeling she got when something brushed up on her leg. Ashley and a guy called Travis are inside a parked yellow van near the lake. Ashley kisses Travis and handcuffs him to the van. As she hides the key of the handcuffs, she accidentally hits the shifter of the van, and it goes forward into the lake. The van begins to take in water. They both panic as Ashley tries to find the key that is no longer in the place she hid. Ashley crawls out of the van, but Travis is still handcuffed. Piranhas swarm the van by tracing Travis' smelly hormones before attacking him. He begs for help, but suddenly goes quiet. He then breaks the widow with his severed hand, but is killed by the piranhas. Ashley screams for help, but no one is around to hear her chicken voice. Blondie apologizes to Josh for dragging him into the water, but leaves immediately. He reassures her that he enjoyed their time outside together. She then asks him if he thinks Ashley is prettier than her, to which he responds that he doesn't. Meanwhile, Maddie turns off the power to the water park after hours, and then leaves for her room. The next day, the park is once again filled with people, but Maddie wonders why Ashley and Travis are missing from employee attendance. She asks Blondie if she has seen them, but she tells her that she hasn't seen any of them this morning. Blondie then throws up into the floor, presumably from the alcohol she consumed last night. Later, the skies grow dark, and the van where Travis and Ashley stayed is finally discovered by the officer. He orders it to be towed back into the land. When they finally get it back to the land, they find that no one was inside, and the van had no clues as to where they may have gone, without even their hormone trace. The officer tells Blondie about that news and asks her if she knows where they could be, but she tells him that she doesn't. Blondie leaves for the dock, and Maddie comes with her. She tells Maddie that even if Ashley was sometimes a pain to be with, she considers her like a sister, and that she doesn't know why Ashley would just disappear. Suddenly, a piranha jumps up to bite Blondie's foot, possibly because her foot smells good, but she narrowly escapes. Maddie tells her to run quickly. The dock begins to be torn apart by piranhas, and as Blondie is about to reach the end of the dock, the piranhas break the board she was standing on, causing her to be separated from Maddie. Maddie tries to get her to jump to safety, but she is scared that she would die. She manages to summon the courage to jump, but the dock flips from the damage, which causes both of them to fall into the water. They quickly rush out of the water and narrowly make it back to land. A piranha manages to follow them on land, but Maddie catches it and bashes its head with a rock. Their fellow employee, Barry, hears the commotion and rushes up to them. He expresses his shock when he sees the huge piranha that Maddie just killed. The officer arrives and gives both Barry and Maddie a ride to see an expert on marine biology and the one who was able to identify the potential threat of the piranhas in Lake Victoria from the previous film. They arrive in Lake Victoria in the evening and approach his house. The expert answers the door and tries to send them away, thinking that they are fans wanting to ask for autographs, but Maddie convinces him that the piranhas are back. He lets them inside his lab, where he shows them a specimen of a piranha from Lake Victoria and reveals that he has been studying them for the past 2 years. The piranha bangs on the glass container, but he mocks its efforts. He then puts a layer of galvanized steel between the piranha and a frog and shows the group that it can even chew through steel. The piranha senses the frog despite the galvanized steel and breaks through it with relative ease. Barry feels sympathy for the frog and grabs it out of the aquarium just in time before the piranha would bite his hand off. The expert then reveals that the piranhas have spent centuries living in underground lakes and rivers that are full of sulfur dioxide from the geothermal activity. He then tells the group that sulfur dioxide is often released during the shipment of chlorinating water, which is often found in backyard pools. This means the piranhas are probably confusing areas like water parks for their underground homes. Maddie tells them that the water park drains directly into a lake, which would mean that the piranhas are currently migrating toward the lake. The expert adds that he tried to tell everyone about the dangers that piranhas could pose to the general populace, but no one listened to him after the release of his book. Barry tells him that he is a fan of his book, which surprises the expert, so he hands a copy out to the group. The officer tells them that he could send out a dive team by tomorrow, but Maddie says that it would already be too late because the water park opens tomorrow, which means that they have to travel back immediately. Later, a news report tells of the disappearance of Ashley and Travis. Josh lets Blondie stay at his house for a night because she's starting to feel sick from the stress of Ashley's disappearance. Meanwhile, Maddie prepares to go to the lake to check out the pipe that leads to the water park. She tries to convince Barry to come with her as a spotter, but he tells her that he cannot swim. Maddie jumps into the lake and finds the pipe, but she's suddenly attacked by a piranha. She quickly swims to shore while a pack of piranhas chases after her. The officer jumps into the lake and manages to pull her out safely. Back in Josh's, a piranha comes out of Blondie and attacks Josh. She goes into a seizure while Josh stumbles across the house, fighting off the piranha biting him. He crashes into a mirror and finds his way into the kitchen, where he grabs a knife and cuts off the body part being bitten by the piranha. Blondie finally awakens and looks for Josh. She sees blood all around the house, and Josh finds her and screams at her. The water park owner is pulled over by the officer. It's revealed that he is working for the owner and takes bribes so that the owner can conduct unlawful business at the water park. He hands the officer an envelope filled with cash, and the officer tells the owner what Maddie and Barry are up to. He reassures him that the pipe is holding up well and that the piranhas won't be able to break in unless there is another way into the water park. Barry and Maddie are talking about her boyfriend, the police officer. Suddenly, Blondie approaches them, saying that Josh cut his own body part and that something came out of her earlier. This surprises both of them, who are looking at her as she's covered in blood. A few hours later, they take Josh and Blondie to the hospital, and the officer says that Josh is in the recovery room, and Blondie is not making any sense right now. Maddie heads home and gets in the bathtub to dress her wound. But suddenly, a piranha comes out from the faucet, and in a few moments, hundreds of piranhas flood into her bathtub. But it turns out, she just had a nightmare. The next day, a celebrity rehearses a song in his motel room before the big opening at the water park. Later, the water park is filled with people from all over the country to celebrate. One of the people that came to the water park today is the deputy from the previous movie. Losing his legs in the incident in Lake Victoria confines him in a wheelchair with a new pair of metal legs. The doctors advise him to go to water therapy to get his body used to the new metal legs. The water park owner introduces the celebrity to the crowd to officially start the opening of the water park. The celebrity takes pictures with many people from the crowd, which establishes him as the main attraction of the water park. Maddie hears a strange noise coming from the lake and sees a well being dug. The owner tells her that they won't have to pay for water utilities anymore after the well is finished. Maddie tells him about the piranhas, but the owner doesn't listen. A kid tells his mom that he got bit by a piranha, but his mom tells him to go to the lifeguard and get a bandage from him. The child goes to the celebrity who is serving as a guest lifeguard, but he just hands the child an autograph. Suddenly, people start screaming from all over the water park as the piranhas enter through the pipe system. Blood fills the pool as person after person falls to the swarm of piranhas. The kids try to fight off the piranhas with their pool inflatables, and the people in the lazy river are easily picked off by the piranhas. The deputy sees the ongoing piranha attacks. He overcomes his fear of the water and jumps into the pool with his metal legs, which have built-in guns that help him kill the piranhas. He manages to save many children from the pool, and the piranhas don't make a dent in him as they try to bite his steel legs. A woman tries to get the celebrity to help the people, but he says that he is a celebrity and not a lifeguard. When he hears the child from earlier screaming in the lazy river, he runs and jumps into the water and manages to save the boy. The owner looks down from the platform and sees the ongoing carnage. Maddie rushes up to him and punches him in the face. She tells him that she has got to drain the pool to send the piranhas back into the lake. She tells Barry to run to the draining room and push the lever that drains the water into the lake. Barry tells Maddie that he has had feelings for her for years now, and she kisses him without using her tongue before he runs to the drain lever. The owner wanders around at the water park, clearly confused at the situation. He tells himself that it is not his fault that this happened. Barry manages to save a fellow employee from a piranha and tells him that they should head to the draining room immediately. The owner grabs the money from his office and drives away using a golf cart, but he doesn't see the rope hanging the banners, and he gets decapitated. The officer sees his girlfriend Maddie in the pool, trying to save as many people as possible. Suddenly, the wave pool gets turned up, and he grabs Maddie's arm before she drowns. He tells her that he didn't know any of this would happen, and that he took bribes from the water park owner. He drops her back into the wave pool and runs. Barry runs to the wave pool and jumps in to save Maddie. He drags Maddie out of the pool successfully before the piranhas manage to get them. The employee Barry saved finally makes it into the draining room, but instead of turning on the drain, he dumps a bunch of flammable chemicals into the pipe system that goes into the pools, and he throws a lit cigarette inside, which causes a massive explosion in the water park, killing many of the piranhas. The explosion sends a giant toy trident into the sky and impales the officer in the head. The movie ends with the expert calling Maddie and telling her that the piranhas are learning how to walk, and the piranha in his lab even broke out of the aquarium. The child from earlier tries to take a picture of one of the surviving piranhas, but gets decapitated in the process. This is Daniel CC Movie Channel. Stay safe and enjoy your day.